Welcome or welcome back. I'm the Ink Archivist here today with a huge unboxing from Cult Pens. We have new releases, Cult Pen exclusives, a very popular pen, and a product I haven't seen anyone talk about, so this is going to be a good one. So, no further ado, we'll get into it. The corner of the package got a little crunched, so I'm a little nervous because this is all ink, but just don't want to stay down. So let's get these out of the way. Oh, so this is something cool, but I haven't seen anyone review yet, so I'm looking forward to trying this and letting you know what all the different colors are and how it performs. So this is the Cuvée writing set by Jacques Herbin. It's got a little bit messed up in the packaging, but it's 10 ml bottles of ink, and it's supposed to kind of go through the process of creating wine. So like this represents the orchard, the grapes, the barrels. Not quite sure about that one, and then the wine at the end. So this one I'm not going to swatch out because I am going to be doing a review on it very shortly. The rest I will be showing you today though, but this is very exciting. Got my order. I always give you a little clip. I'm so excited for these. I love me some Pelikan Edelstein ink, so I have Mandarin and the Ink of the Year Rose Quartz. I tried this from my Goulet haul. I got a sample of it and I immediately went, yeah, not getting this before was a mistake, so I got it on this order since it's a little cheaper getting it from overseas. And then the Ink of the Year Rose Quartz came out very recently. I actually had this order with a pre-order for a few things, so I thought it was going to take much longer, but yeah, these came out pretty quick, so I'll show those in more depth once I have everything out of the box. Just gonna go ahead and grab all these and move it. All right. So I also have these guys. So this is the Kaweco collection in the iridescent. So I'm gonna go ahead and open this one up. Oh, absolutely gorgeous. It's a very unique pen. I'm glad that they did this. I hope we get to see some more like this from Kaweco. So here we go, it's a double broad nib. So I didn't necessarily want a double broad nib, but it was the only one I didn't have yet, so I really wanted to try it. So we'll see how it goes. And I figured it might come in handy with super light ink to have a super broad nib. This item here is a bit of a novelty. So with the latest Lamy Safaris, there was a European exclusive, which is this. It's the D-Light Ink X Eradicator. So I believe this side is supposed to be able to remove washable blues, and then this side is a marker so that you can then fill in whatever you deleted with this side. So I don't know if I have anything that's gonna work with this, but I'm looking forward to trying it out. I just thought it was a fun thing to include since it's a European exclusive and it's not expensive. So here we have the Cult Pen exclusive Pearl Series Dominant Industry inks. I'll get those in a second. And we also have Sailor's Warning. So let me open up these guys. Oh, I hate when they make you cut it. Ooh, I've never had a Dominant Industry ink before. That's a cute little bag. Oh, and the bottles are very nice. Ooh, I like that quite a lot. I like smaller bottles of ink. Lord knows I don't need more than I have. So I'll play around with this one later. Oh, I almost didn't see that it came with a little pipette. That's a useful little include. And this is the other Pearl Series exclusives, the Dawn. I think they have more than these two. They're just the ones I was interested in because they were gorgeous on the website. The detailing on the top is really pretty. It's not showing up super well. It's quite dark. All right, and then we have the Shimmer-tastic Sailor's Warning from Diamine. This is one of the 2 inks of the year. I have the other one as well. Oh, that's really nice. I thought these were plastic for some reason. Yeah, they're glass. They look way better in person. They look like they look really cheap on the website, but that's quite attractive. 50 mils. You can kind of see it has the blue glitter in this like kind of dark coral red ink. Oh, that's so cool. Really excited about this. So here's Celadon Cat. Pomonia Jegmenta. Monte Grappa Harry Potter ink. And 2 of the small Diamine bottles. So before I get to the Harry Potter ink, if you want to guess, it's the house that I belong to. I don't think anyone's going to get it right. So if you want to pause and try to guess which house I'm from, you can do so while I look at the other inks here. So here's Celadon Cat. Very nice. I love these bottles. I haven't had a full bottle of Diamine ink in many, many years. I think the only one I have is Pumpkin, and I got it like 10 years ago, so. Super cool to kind of get some more in the collection. And then, yeah, this is Pannonia's Jegmenta, which is an ice mint color. And it is also an exclusive to Cult Pens. Oh, that's cute. Little nib and heart. So I'll be curious to see what the properties of this ink are. So this is quite large at 60 mil. And you can see it's like that light mint color. Kind of like the ink got kind of scruffed around on this label. So it looks a little bit dirty, but no big deal. And then the 2 little ones are Autumn Oak. And then the Cult Pens exclusive Machu Picchu. All right, last chance to try and figure out which house I am. Does it say on the outside? See it on the label there. Ooh, that's really pretty. That's cool. Oh. I gotta take this out first. Yeah, okay. Ooh, there we go. Slytherin Green. I'm not a big Harry Potter fan, honestly. I was not allowed to read them as a kid, and so, you know, by the time I became an adult, I was kind of past the age of feeling the magic of it, but I thought getting my house ink would be fun at least. And I love this packaging. Again, that's very cool detail on the top. And I don't have a lot of green inks, so it's always nice to kind of expand the collection, have more for comparisons. But yeah, that's the haul. So I will show you all these different inks. Now, before I show all the different inks, I did forget to show you the unboxing of the Edelstein inks. So, splicing that in here. So we have the rose quartz and the foam blocks that always give me trouble. Of course, you have this gorgeous, gorgeous bottle again. So some of the Edelstein inks have silver caps, and then some of them have black. And then here's the Mandarin. So this one has the black cap on it. I don't know if it's just the limited editions that have silver. I think that's the difference, maybe. And now we will get to the writing samples of all the inks, except for the Kuvi writing set again, which I'm doing a separate full review on very shortly. So I don't want to kind of spoil you to that. But I did want to start out with some of the more highly anticipated inks, so I'm starting with Sailor's Warning, and then I'll go into Celadon Cat and the Edelstein Rose Quartz, so I don't leave you in suspense. So yes, here is that Sailor's Warning, and again, this is a corally red with a blue shimmer to it. And if you didn't know, this was voted on a Reddit forum. And then Diamine took the winners of those and made the two inks, Sailor's Warning and Celadon's Cat. I think it's very cool that they interact with their audience in that way. I kind of wish that more ink manufacturers were that involved and did kind of fun things like that. Keeps things interesting. Now this ink is quite visible in either nib size that I had here, the Fonte or the Fine Hokuro, but the blue was pretty hard to detect. They did say that on several of the samples, the blue just disappeared, and so one of the ones that it was more visible on was voted to be the color, but even so, this is a little bit difficult. But the next ink we have here is the Celadon Cat, which was inspired by ceramics. I'm kind of getting a lot of Celadon ceramic inks lately. And this is supposed to be a heavy shader. I will have to play with this ink some more, but I think it is pretty visible even in a fine, and I really like the unique color. I think this is really what I wanted from J. Urban's Verdigris, so I might be a giant fan of this ink. I do like the properties of both of these. Sailor's Warning flows very nicely despite being a shimmer ink, and Celadon Cat is pretty standard for Diamine. I will be interested in putting Sailor's Warning in a finer nib at some point and seeing if it clogs the pen or causes it to run a little bit drier. But now we'll move on to the two Edelstein inks that I got, starting of course with the Rose Quartz. This was an interesting ink for me because the kind of spoilers ahead of time made it seem at first like it was going to be a very light baby pink. And then other things that came later made it seem more dusty. So I was very excited to see this in person and how it would come out. And it was kind of in between like a dusty rose and that baby pink. It's honestly quite bright, but still kind of in that Edelstein line of being a little bit more subdued and definitely readable and practical. You have some lovely shading there. You can see really well on that title. And Edelstein inks perform wonderfully. They're like Irisuzuku, but not as wet, is how I would describe it. And then we have the Mandarin, which I knew I would love because I had sampled it beforehand. And this is just kind of in my wheelhouse. And again, I think Edelstein inks have wonderful properties, so I was a shoo-in to like it. So probably should have just gotten a bottle years ago. Oh well, making up for it now. As you can see, there's less shading here on the Mandarin and on the Rose Quartz. I'd say it's slightly more saturated. Which I don't necessarily like. I actually like unsaturated, very bright oranges myself. But here's a look at those four inks. And kind of make a nice pairing there. And then we'll move on to the next four. And those will be the two green inks, the Pannonia Jegmenta and Montegrappa Slithering Green, and then we will have Dusk and Dawn at the bottom. Something really interesting about this Pannonia Jegmenta is, as you can see at the top of that title with the 2.0 Hokuro nib, it kind of disappears because the shading is just so heavy in some parts. But as I was kind of playing around with this and writing with the Fonte and the fine Hokuro nib, I found that it was very legible for the lightness of the color. I really like this ink. I'm very curious to put it in an actual fountain pen and see how it performs there. But I think it's a really lovely and unique shade. Montegrappa's Slithering Green was another total winner, and I'm glad. I don't think there was a single ink that I didn't like out of any of these, which is good because I got bottles of them. And for this one, it seems like the supply's been dwindling, so they had 2 bottles of the Slithering Green, but I don't see a lot of places still carrying this or having samples or anything, so I had to spring for the full bottle while I still could. But I really love this color. It reminds me of the scented Diamine ink that I tried before. And I'm really glad because I loved that color. I just couldn't use it because of the scent. So this is kind of the replacement for it. And this had a really good flow to it. A really wonderful writer. So now we'll move on to Dusk and Dawn, the Dominant Industry Cult Pens exclusive inks. And both of these were extremely cool. Like, they have a lot of depth and different colors of the glitter. And I like how they're kind of corollaries to each other, with Dawn obviously being the lighter color and then Dusk being the darker color. I just like it thematically. And I like both of these inks in comparison to all the purples with shimmer I've been using lately. I have acquired and sampled a lot lately on this channel, and I think these two are really my favorite so far. I don't know a ton about their performance because obviously I haven't put them in a pen and used them for an extended period of time yet since I just got them, but the looks department at least is really impressive. Another thing I really liked about this ink was the bottles. I think they're very unique and expressive and interesting, and I like that they're smaller. I'm very happy that a lot of ink manufacturers are coming out with smaller quantities of inks or set packs where you can get a variety with smaller amounts, because I think most people like myself who have a lot of inks just really don't want like a 60, 80 ml bottle. You know, we really want 20 to play with, and that's good because we don't want to waste a whole huge bottle. So Sailor just came out with a few sets of their Manyo inks that are, I think, 4 packs of 20 mils, and I think that's just great. I hope that more and more companies decide to do that. So we're kind of wrapping up Dawn here, and then I'll show you a look at these 4 inks again. And again, as I stated previously, I really like all of these. I'm really looking forward to getting more experience with Dusk and Dawn and doing a full review. So here are the last 2 that we have, and they are the Diamine kind of smaller bottles of ink that I showed you. So Autumn Oak and Machu Picchu. So first we have Autumn Oak, and I was really shocked by how this ink looked in person. On the website and everything I've seen, it looks so much more orange, but in person it really has a lot more brown to it than I expected. I honestly don't think I like this at all. I'd really bought it because I thought it was more leaning on that orange side, and I want to do kind of an episode of comparisons with oranges eventually, but I don't think this even would be included. I think it's kind of operating in an interesting space. I don't know a lot of inks off the top of my head that are like this, so I'm sure a lot of people like the uniqueness, and probably the kind of browny tone to it makes it more readable and therefore more applicable for a lot of different situations compared to a bright orange, but just not my preference. And then we have the Machu Picchu. And this is from Cult Pen's Wonders of the World series. And it's a lovely olivey light green color. I heard some people say that they found this a bit hard to read. And I can see that. I didn't really have an issue myself, but it is quite light as you can see from the swatching. Now I really like the properties of both of these. Obviously Diamine usually is very consistent with their inks, so I'm excited to put this in a pen, especially an extra fine. If it looks good in there, then I think this is maybe a new favorite of mine, so I really like this color. But there are those finished samples. And now I have all of the ink bottles that I've shown today on Wearingles swatch cards. So I have these to kind of put my whole collection of ink bottles on, and since I have bottles of all these now, I thought it would be good to swatch them out for you, and it'll be a nice final look at all of them. I think this is a beautiful array of colors here. I'll be very curious to hear which ones you are personally interested in and which ones aren't impressing you. So please leave a comment below. But thank you for joining me today on this haul and looking at everything I got. I appreciate it, and I hope you have a great day. Bye!